Here we go. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. I am your host, the average TCCC enjoyer that your mom said that we have at home. Thanks for watching. Guys, the purpose of today's video is I'm going to give you an introduction into what you need to start thinking about as far as medical for Wrol, Shtf, or maybe just a refresher for some of you guys that have already got a more advanced CLS class or anything more advanced than that even. Guys, this is not going to be everything you need to know. This is going to get your brain turning and give you some basic terms and give you some things to start thinking about along your journey of getting into medical and kind of the reason of why. Why do we carry tourniquets? Why do we carry an IFAK? Why is it one of the most important pieces of kit on your equipment? So that is what we're going to be discussing here today. The emoji for the video is either going to be one of the little sick emojis where he's like got the head bandage on, you know, the sick little guy, or you can put whatever medical style band-aid or whatever or medicine emoji that you want to down below. Guys, Patreon, it's $5 a month. It gets you access to our Discord server where you can find buddies to train with, game with, and stay up late and talk about all your favorite IFAK builds. Okay? With that being said, I use the T-Rex one. You do whatever you want to do. Instagram, it's going to be linked down below. It's where you see all the behind-the-scenes lifting content. Last but not least, Palmetto State Armory. Huge shout out to them. They are the sponsor of the video. If you need stuff for your kit, go ahead over and check the link below. It helps out. Thank you to PSA. Okay, guys, let's talk about medical. So the purpose. Now, the purpose is every single person in your Minuteman fire team or whatever you're getting into needs to understand everything I talk about here today with medical and a lot more. This is only a beginning video to get you started and get you thinking about some of the basics, okay? But if you have a buddy that doesn't know the things that we're going to discuss today, you definitely need to share this video with them or a video like it to start getting their brains turning. Story time. A couple things. One, as far as medical, if everybody's yelling and trying to give commands as far as triage, then nobody is. So keep that in mind. If the medic is trying to give guidance, everyone needs to be listening. If everyone is panicking, then nothing is actually going to get done. I've seen broken wrists and I've seen hardcore non-commissioned officers get really blue in the face because they've never seen an actual real-world casualty and they don't know what to do, so everyone starts running around like crazy. So the biggest thing I could try to articulate is medical sucks. It's not pretty, it's not fun for the casualty, it's not fun for the people working on them, and it's not fun especially for the people that have to sit over near the expectant and try to comfort them in their last dying minutes, okay? So this is it's a pretty heavy topic, guys, but it's important because it's important to get everyone on the same sheet of music whenever you're going to try to get into TCCC, which is combat casualty care, okay? Tactical combat casualty care, or anything to do with triage and treatment of a patient. Okay, so with all that being said, let's get into it. TCCC. So what I really want you guys to get out of this video is care under fire. Okay, the first step. What that means is I see a lot of comments in certain posts and certain videos saying, I would never leave a buddy behind. Well, here, let's talk about it. So the number one rule of a gunfight is don't get shot, and after you get shot is win the gunfight, okay? So if your buddy or you get shot, the first step is try to return fire and get to cover, okay? If you're shot or you've lost a limb or blown up or whatever, you need to try to get out of the open and get to cover. If you can't get out of the open or get to cover, you need to play dead because what's going to happen is the enemy is going to re-engage you multiple times. Once you get to cover, if you get to cover, you need to try to return fire and then render aid, okay? You need to try to apply a tourniquet or a pressure bandage or whatever your situation is. You need to start trying to render self-aid. Self-aid is one of the things where people often forget. You don't just lay there and wait for assistance. You need to start accessing your tourniquets. That's why your tourniquets need to be accessible to you on any part of your kit with both hands, because if you lost an arm, you need to be able to access that tourniquet with the other hand, okay? After you get to cover, only when the gunfight is either won or been controlled is when one of your buddies will try to get to you. If they cannot get to you, dead bodies attract more bodies. What that means is they're not going to try to get to you if the gunfight is going to be lost or it's going to cost more bodies to get to you. The whole never leave a fallen comrade thing, yes, it's applicable. However, if it's going to cost the lives of the rest of your squad, that casualty will be left there until we can retrieve them. So if you're a gung-ho commando in the comments saying you'd never leave a buddy behind, okay, well, you will. If you don't win the gunfight or can't control the gunfight in the manner you want to, then you will leave them behind. Okay, so that's care under fire, guys. Okay, so have your tourniquets accessible and actually know how to use them. I'm going to orient you guys to the tourniquet. So just a couple things. This is the windlass. Okay, that's the bar on it. I recommend the cat tourniquets. That's about one of the best ones you can get, if not the only good one. Okay, the time is for when it's applied. If you forget to write the time, you could possibly be adding further amputation or compartment syndrome to that patient. Okay, there's 2 buckles on a tourniquet. You need to utilize both. If you're utilizing a tourniquet for self-aid, you only use 1 buckle. If you're utilizing a tourniquet for buddy aid, aka you're putting a tourniquet on somebody, you need to utilize both buckles. For self-aid, you only have to use 1. I recommend you keep at least 4 of these on you. Why? Because you have 4 limbs, okay? But that is just basic tourniquet 101. When you apply a tourniquet, say I'm shot right here. The general rule of thumb, okay, is you apply it high up, high and tight as you can, okay? And then later on, you can apply a secondary tourniquet 2 to 3 inches above the actual wound. That's it's gonna help you allow for another tourniquet to be applied and prevent compartment syndrome. What you never want to do is apply a tourniquet and then have to apply another one above it. You'd rather have to be able to apply one here, and you will never remove a tourniquet as well. If you apply a tourniquet in a combat situation, you will never remove it. If you remove a tourniquet, that's when you're going to have compartment syndrome issues, and you're allowing blood to go back into an area of the body that has been dying, because the second you cut off blood flow, you are literally killing that limb, okay? So never, once you apply a tourniquet, never remove it, and that's about as much as you need to know right now for tourniquets. Triage, okay. Before we get into triage, I'm going to talk about March, okay? March, massive hemorrhaging, airway, respiratory, circulation, and head / cold weather injury, okay? Hypothermia. I can't talk today. I just got out of the field, guys. Okay, so March, write it down. Massive hemorrhage, airway, respiratory, circulation, and head or hypothermia. That is the order in which you're going to treat a casualty, okay? So when you're coming up to them and you're doing your blood sweep on them, you're looking for massive hemorrhage is the first thing. What is a hemorrhage? It's massive bleeding. After that, you're looking at airway. Can they breathe? If they can't breathe, you need to try to clear their airway with any means necessary, okay? Whether that means moving the casualty on the non-injured side to relieve pressure, if that means tension pneumothorax, okay, applying a needle decompression, that's a whole nother more advanced video, or if that means trying to utilize an MPA or a nasal pharyngeal, okay, in their uninjured side to open up that airway. That's some stuff for that. Circulatory and head and hemorrhage. Obviously, head goes without saying. If they have damage to the eye, or if they have damage to anything that's going to prevent them from being able to breathe. Also, damage to their actual brain if you need to try to, if their skull is jacked up and you need to try to prevent it from moving, okay? Things like that. And then hemorrhage, and then hypothermia. Guys, hypothermia, if you have a space blanket, or if you need to put that casualty, if they've been controlled and they're going into shock or hemorrhage, hypothermia, you can put them in a sleeping bag with one of their battle buddies, okay, to try to keep their body warm. Next thing we want to talk about is AVPU. AVPU, okay, alert, verbal, pain, and unresponsive. If you come up to a casualty and they're unresponsive, that's a bad sign. That probably means they're in shock or have lost a lot of blood. That's going to be a serious issue that you're going to have to address, okay? So alert. Alert means I say, hey buddy, are you awake? What time is it? They can tell me what time of it, what day it is, what day of the year it is, what they're doing, what their name is. Basic stuff, right? Maybe not what time, more like what date. Verbal. Verbal means they can, when I talk to them, they can talk back, okay? Pain, it means they're only responsive for pain. That means you have to give them a sternum rub, okay, or something like that to wake them up, to keep them alert. And unresponsive is pretty, like I said, it's normally a pretty bad sign, especially with a casualty. If they're losing a lot of blood, that's a good sign that they're going into shock or they're going to die soon. Okay, IFAC placement. IFACs need to be centrally located on the body so both hands can get to it. Things that are going to go into IFAC are a tourniquet, a chest seal, an MPA, needle decompression, pressure bandages, sometimes a splint, but not often. okay? A marker, you need to have a permanent marker, and the list goes on. I recommend gloves because a lot of your riflemen are going to get a little bit weird when they see their buddy jacked up. It's better for them to be able to put on gloves as well. So that's your IFAK. It is a mandatory piece of kit, and it needs to be on every every kit that you have, okay, even for the range, because if or have a CLS bag, a combat lifesaver bag at the range, but I recommend you have an IFAK on every piece of kit. Next I want to talk to you guys about is triage. Okay, so we have urgent, priority, and routine, and expectant. Urgent would be like you're missing a limb, you have a major gunshot wound, okay, you life, limb, or eyesight, okay, you have multiple gunshot wounds, and that is who you're going to work on first, okay? So urgent patients, you need to try to remove within 1 hour, the golden hour. That means from the time they got shot, they need to be on an operating table in 1 hour, okay? So that is urgent. Priority, okay, now you're looking at 2 hours, okay? There's still priority. That means you might have I'm trying to give an example. Broken ribs, you might have, they might be going into cold weather, okay? But you're looking at a bigger window of time, okay? You're looking at a bigger window of time for a priority patient, but that still means they are a priority they need to get back. Routine might be like they lost a finger, they have broken, rolled ankle, okay? Something that, yeah, they need to get treated, but it's not going to be huge. The biggest thing to take out of this is 1 hour and 2 hours, okay, for urgent and priority. The reason you're setting it up in this manner in a triangle is because as you enter, you're going to enter here at the 6. That's where the 6 o'clock will be. You're going to enter where the urgent are. That way you can get to them faster and pick them up and remove them. The bodies need to be set in a manner, or the patients need to be set in a manner so you can move between them and continue to apply aid. So don't stack them on top of each other because then you won't be able, the medic or doc won't be able to reassess and apply further aid to them. Expectant is the guys that are probably going to die. You don't want to have the expectant near the other casualties because what happens is when soldiers wake up, or Minutemen or whatever, when they wake up and they're near someone who's really, really jacked up in the expectant pile, they are going to think that they're in the expectant pile, and then they're going to go into a state of shock, and they're potentially going to die. I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, but if you think you're hurt, if you think you're hurt worse than you are, then your body is gonna start acting like you're hurt worse than you are, and you could actually send that person you could kill them by having them positioned near the expectant. If they see people that are jacked up worse than they are, they're gonna think that they're in the expectant pile. So again, urgent near the entrance. That way you can access them quicker. Also, the medic, if you only have one, is going to, and the platoon sergeant are going to assign a certain number of CLS personnel to each area. They're going to have almost nobody at routine, maybe 1 to 2 at priority, and everybody else is going to be at urgent. Okay, what they're going to be doing is reassessing those casualties and trying to keep them alive. Expectant, typically you'll have a team leader or somebody that is a little bit more seasoned with the expectant guys, because you got to realize sitting next to your buddies that are going to die, that's going to last. It's going to be with that person forever. If you have a chaplain, they're also going to be near the expectant as well, trying to give them an easy passing. And it's an unfortunate topic, like I said, but that is who is going to be positioned near the expectant. If they do pass, the platoon sergeant needs one of their ID tags or their dog tags, and then the rest of the dog tag will stay with the body until it is processed. Okay. So that's why it's important to have your ID tags or dog tags on your person. If you don't have ID tags, it's important to have. I would say even it's cringy. Maybe get someone, put them on in your back pants and tie it off to your belt loop. Okay, like route it through your belt loop. But you need a way to mark your body. If you get blown up, it's going to be kind of hard to mark your body if you don't have identification tags or dog tags. Okay, I've talked a lot. You guys have talked none. I'm tired from the field. So what I want you guys to do, leave a comment down below what parts were confusing, what you want to see next as far as medical. This video was just to get your brain turning towards the medical, I guess, topic or subject, because I do feel like it is something that's not covered enough in today's gun community, okay? Let me know what you guys want to see next. Leave your emoji down below. If you got this far and you want to support me, please consider buying from the link below from PSA, Palmetto State Armory, or become a member of the Patreon for $5 a month. Until next time, this is going to be Trench Grenade, your average TCCC enjoyer, signing out. Cheers.